I'm Natalie Chapman, and this is my creative business, which includes framing, large format printing, my own work, and I do workshops. It's been a great journey so far. It's I'm about 15 years in, which I feel quite proud of actually, because I think for a creative business, there's lots of struggles. So yeah, it's going really well. I make work about lived experience because that's kind of my passion. I think for me it's really important to try to tell a lot of different stories and bring them in into the gallery walls and hopefully start conversations, spark debate. For me, getting the large format printer, not everybody can afford a large original, but people might want to buy into your work and have the opportunity of getting something that's smaller scale or more affordable. That printer is now supporting guests to work here a couple of days a week. I don't have to externally source everything now, whereas before I'd have to take paintings, get them photographed, get them scanned, then take them somewhere else to get them printed, whereas now I can kind of do everything in-house, and I can do everything in-house for other people as well. So it sort of adds to my framing as well as all the other things. Don't want to be still in the same place in 10 years because I think you'll inevitably find yourself falling behind. Trends change, what people want changes. And just the same as any other business, you need to be at the front of that. In the arts, you have to be diverse. You have to be ready for taking on different challenges. And I think that can lead to a sort of a burnout because you're constant and you're trying to sort of do as much as you can to the best of your ability. So sometimes I think it's really important that you are mindful of giving yourself a bit of downtime as well. For me, in terms of things that have worked really well for marketing is things like Instagram. Things that you can do that are visual, because obviously you're working in a visual way. You can make quite simple connections with people by just, taking a few photos or showing what's inspiring you at the moment. Talk about what you're doing because, when you're an artist, not like other industries, it's you. You are your brand. I think spending time on your website is a great thing that I've recently actually got to grips with. Sometimes as a creative, you shy away from those sort of more techie things because it's not a brush and it's not, something that you're used to. You're in control of your story and you don't have to rely on other people liking your work. You can just put it out there yourself anyway. I think if you're just starting out in the art world, it can be a little bit overwhelming. You're kind of feeling, oh gosh, is my work relevant? Is anybody going to like it? And I would say, forget all of that stuff. Like, just put that out of your head, because you're always going to have people who hate your work. That's just part of it, and actually I would say that that's probably a good thing because it means that you're creating a reaction. I think for an artist, the last thing you want to be is bland and not create any reaction to your work. You could make a little exhibition in your living room and film it and put it online and have a link to people to purchase if they wanted. I think you have to be creative in your thinking and not just in your work. I think when you think about your business as a whole, you've got to be realistic. You need to make sure that you've got a skill set in terms of marketing, in terms of, making connections in the art world and finding out about a scene that is in your area. It might be artist meetups, it might be, gallery opportunities, it might just be business people in your area, and collaborate with other businesses, because actually I think now what people are learning more and more, there's power in people, like get together. It doesn't have to be somebody that's in the same business line as you as well, it can be somebody totally different. But you could actually do something really interesting. Maybe your two businesses would work really well together. Who knows? Antur Cymru have been brilliant. I saw an advert, which I think was on Facebook, which was for an open, like an open surgery in Aberaeron. Sort of vaguely had an idea about diversifying the business and bringing in the printing, but it wasn't a finished idea. It was a thought, and I knew I needed some kind of advice on it. I met with Linos, and she was brilliant. She told me there was a grant available at the time, which was match funding, and she supported me from the start. You know, questions, emailing back and forward. She supported me through the whole way of the application. And then within that, we were chatting about, you know, what else could I do with some help with. And I mentioned about online, because I knew at the time I was selling a lot of work online. And I had my website built, but I wanted to just kind of connect the two, because things like Instagram and things like that were doing really well, but I wasn't getting the drive through the website. She then put me in touch with Lynn, who's just brilliant. Had a great meeting with her. You know, I came away with I had about 5 pages of notes, and then afterwards she sent me a, you know, very detailed plan to follow, which I've been doing. You know, she was happy. She said, you know, as soon as you've come through that, come back and then we'll go into phase 2. But already the difference has been incredible, especially in terms of the website. She gave me lots of tips, and that has just led to sales straight away, which I kind of wasn't really expecting, but it just goes to show, you know, you've got to take advice off the people who know they're in their jobs for a reason, aren't they? And that's what you do. And, you know, it's like, I'm sure if Lynn wants to paint a painting, she'll come to me and I'll give her some tips. I've just been a sole trader for the last 15 years. So for somebody like me to get that help to step up to the next ladder to potentially build my business, I would say it's been game changing.